Well, that is the end of the NBA season, everyone. The Sixers win in their final game of the season over the Detroit Pistons, 118-106. And right now, basically, the only thing that you're looking forward to now is the first round of the NBA playoffs because the matchup technically is set. We knew this basically for the past couple of days. It was most likely the obvious outcome that was going to happen. The Sixers are going to be playing the Toronto Raptors in round one of the NBA playoffs. There were a little bit of implications that could have happened today. If the Celtics were to lose against Memphis, maybe the Sixers could have slid into that 3 seed to play Chicago in the first round. But Memphis versus Celtics, they basically rest all of their guys. So the Celtics are destroying them right now. The Celtics are going to move into the 2 seed because the Milwaukee Bucks lost against the Cleveland Cavaliers today because they rested a bunch of their guys. So Boston's going to end up with the 2 seed. Milwaukee's going to be the 3. And the Philadelphia 76ers, they're going to be in the 4 seed as they play the Toronto Raptors in the first round of the NBA playoffs. And we all knew coming into this game that most likely Joel Embiid and James Harden were not going to play just because at the end of the day, you knew where you're going to be. You were going to make the playoffs regardless. At this point, it's just resting these guys, let them rest for the next week because the first round of the playoffs does not start until April 16th. So you got that entire week of the play-in tournament to rest all your guys and prepare for the first round. So there's a lot of stuff going into that. But it didn't basically you just have a game that you can just enjoy, even though it was a little bit close for most of that part. But then you see, Shake Milton go off, Tyrese Maxey does his thing, and Paul Reed off of the bench today was just simply basically a dunk contest for him. He was just doing everything out there on the court. But the one thing like I see in the press conference from Doc Rivers is literally just, oh, we're not going to go on a Paul Reed, victory tour right here. We're focusing on winning a championship. Dude, like, just enjoy just appreciate what Paul Reed did. We're not trying, like, oh, he's the next saving grace of, the backup point, even though Paul Reed probably should be, the backup center to Joel Embiid. But no, we're going to constantly throw in DeAndre Jordan in there and let the team get imploded on defense when those rotations come out. But just, like, you don't have to sound condescending. Like, you don't have to, constantly, demote the media and the fans, all that. Just let them enjoy the moment. Just let them enjoy what Paul Reed is doing his thing today. Like, I don't know why Doc Rivers has to be so stupid, freaking condescending. I don't know. It just makes me it's like a hate the face type of thing with Doc Rivers when he does this stupid type of shit. When he's always like, oh, it's always like, the negative downside of everything. It's just like, Doc, come on, just enjoy what Paul Reed did. That's basically what I'm trying to go here by. But still, overall, pretty enjoyable game. And then you have all the stuff with Joel Embiid now winning the scoring title in the NBA. So we'll get into that in a little bit. And most likely he's probably not going to win the MVP just because of reasons and computers. But yeah, before we get into this win over the Sixers, the most important thing you can do is hit that subscribe button and also drop a like on the like button as well if you're looking for all the latest Philadelphia sports news, recaps, and events. This is the place to be at, depending on the outcome, great or miserable, depending on the outcome. Also, if you're a current viewer of the channel, I'm grateful for you being here that long and looking to continue that down the road. And if you are looking for tickets to upcoming sporting events, concerts, whatever you can think of, use the code TTPSPORTS down below for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. So now you can officially get your Sixers playoff tickets for round one against the Raptors. There you go. Get yourself some Phillies home tickets for the Mets series upcoming. Can't pass that up. Put yourself through a Flyers game. Why not? And when the Eagles come back, free $20 in your pocket. Use that for concessions. Use that for parking. Anything. It's a great deal. Use the code TTP Sports for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek today. So like I said, the Sixers backups basically beat the Detroit Pistons by a score of 118-106. And just looking at, some of the players that we all know Joel Embiid wasn't playing. We all know that James Harden wasn't playing. So you're seeing a starting rotation of Tobias Harris, Danny Green, DeAndre Jordan, Tyrese Maxey, and Matisse Thybulle. Some of the guys that were coming off of the bench in this game. And actually the bench rotation was, the way better outcome. Look at some of the guys that came off of the bench. Paul Reed a plus 30, Shake Milton a plus 24, Furkan Korkmaz a plus 24, and Isaiah Joe a plus 21 off of the bench. Paul Reed in 21 minutes, Shake Milton in 33, Furkan Korkmaz in 32, and Isaiah Joe in 28 minutes. And then definitely, in this game when, Joel Embiid and James Harden are playing, a lot of these other guys are going to get some rotational minutes. And especially since it's the last game of the season and you're going up against a very weak opponent, even though the Sixers did lose to Detroit, a week and a half ago, and that whole debacle happened, still, you knew a lot of these guys were going to be seeing some more minutes on the court. And hey, they made the most of it. Shake Milton went off completely today, getting 30 points on the board, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, shot 11 of 18 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, and 7 of 7 from the free throw line. A great performance right there from Shake Milton. Hey, maybe he just builds up some confidence going into the playoffs, and that's basically all you can need at this point for those, bench rotations and all that. Maybe you can just build some confidence right there going into this first round against Toronto. Got Paul Reed off of the bench in 21 minutes, giving it 25 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, 12 of 14 from the field. He was basically a dunk machine out there. It was basically just too easy for him. Like I said, you're also going up against a weak opponent, but it's just nice to see Paul Reed go out there and just be very confident in himself. He also had 5 fouls on the floor as well, so he got into some foul trouble during the process of this game. Isaiah Joe off of the bench in those 28 minutes, he gave you 8 points. He shot 2 of 9 from the field, 2 of 7 from the 2 of 7 from the 3-point line, and 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Also gave you 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals as well. So looking at some of the starters in this game, also Furkan Korkmaz off the bench, he gave you 9 points in 32 minutes, 2 of 10 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and 1 block. Looking at some of the starters today, Tobias Harris played 24 minutes. Like I said, some of the starters in this game actually weren't, the best going up against Detroit. Tobias Harris was an exact 0 in the plus-minus category, only put up 6 points in this game in 24 minutes, 3 of 10 from the field, did not put up one single 3-point shot, and did not go to the foul line once. Got 5 rebounds, got 6 of 6, got 1 steal. So yeah, not the best performance from Tobias Harris in this game. Danny Green recorded 0 points in 20 minutes, so he was very cold today, only put up 2 shots, and both of those were from beyond the arc. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals for Danny Green. DeAndre Jordan in his 23 minutes put up 8 points. He was a minus 14 on the court, 4 of 6 from the field, 11 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block. Tyrese Maxey, pretty good game for himself, 25 points, 9 of 15 from the field. He went 0 of 4 from the 3-point line, so yeah, I'm not going to find that concerning. He's going to eventually let those fall, let those drop, because his 3-point shooting percentage this year has been very good and a very much improvement this year. Went 7 of 7 from the free throw line, got 2 rebounds, 3 assists. So good game from Tyrese Maxey. And Matisse Thybulle, definitely going to be the question mark, especially when you're going up in this first round against Toronto because of the vaccination problem with him, the vaccination issue. Because he's going to be eligible to play in Toronto because of their restrictions. Not going to be able to play there. So that's going to be a very huge question mark in what Doc Rivers does when the Sixers go to Toronto. I don't know, does Matisse Thybulle, make the decision to get vaccinated in this stretch of time so he can be eligible? I have no idea. I have no idea what is going to happen over the span of, this week before the first round of the playoffs start. In his 36 minutes, he gives you 7 points, 3 of 4 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks, and a -4 on the court. Sixers as a whole shot 52% from the field, and they shot 20% from 3, so they really struggled from beyond the arc in this game. The only guys that hit their 3s were Shake Milton, Furkan Korkmaz, Isaiah Joe, and the one from Matisse Thybulle. Looking at some of their team stats in this game, rebounds were pretty even. They still got outboarded offensively wise, but especially, like I said, basically, I would say none of these stats really, look into it too deeply, just because you don't have Joel Embiid, you don't have James Harden on the court, and you're basically playing your bench guys and, some of the other guys from the starting rotation. So it's really not that much to look into at this point. It was the final game of the season. You got the win. You got your 51st win of the season, and now you're officially just looking at the standings and where you're officially going to be placed and who you're playing in that first round, which is going to be the Toronto Raptors. So if you look at the NBA standings right now, Miami has that 1st seed, Boston now officially with the 2 seed, Milwaukee with the 3, Philadelphia with the 4 seed. So they're going to be playing Toronto, Milwaukee's going to be playing Chicago, and Boston's going to be playing the 7th seed, and then Miami's going to be playing the 8th seed when all that stuff is figured out with the play-in tournament. The Brooklyn Nets, they're going to be playing the Cleveland Cavaliers in the play-in tournament, and the Atlanta Hawks will be playing the Charlotte Hornets in that play-in tournament. So the winner of the Brooklyn-Cleveland game, I believe, plays the 2 seed, and then you have the winner of the Atlanta Hawks-Charlotte game plays the loser of the Cleveland-Brooklyn game, and then the winner of that game plays the 1 seed, I believe. So that's what it's most likely going to be for that standpoint. So some other things that happened before the game, you get Joel Embiid officially getting the scoring title in the NBA, best scorer in the league this year. He is the first big man to do that since Shaquille O'Neal, and that was a way long time ago. So yeah, that's some history right there for Joel Embiid in just his dominant season so far, averaging over 30 points a game. So yeah, just completely dominant on all circles. And most likely he is probably not going to win the MVP award for some goddamn reason. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever the computers tell you that Jokic is better in these random ass stats that you basically just don't understand. Oh, this, one minuscule stat that Nikola Jokic is better means Joel Embiid does not deserve to win the MVP award. It means Jokic is completely better than Joel Embiid just because of this one stat says, though, that is on the computer right in front of me. Come on. Come on. Like I said, I don't want to make it sound like it's knocking Jokic because Jokic is having a fantastic season. He's a fantastic player. But it feels like Joel Embiid is just completely being disrespected and just disregarded for this award by the entire NBA. I just don't understand it whatsoever. And some things that I am very looking for in with Doc Rivers in his press conference, because he's talking about, DeAndre Jordan and all that stuff going into the playoffs. He's saying we're going to be playing DeAndre Jordan when we're playing a big 5. And then when we're not playing a big 5, we're going to be looking in a different direction. So most likely, I would assume when you're playing Toronto, you're going to be seeing DeAndre Jordan as the backup center to Joel Embiid. And that's going to be very terrible because DeAndre Jordan, every time he's on the court, the team is going to get demolished when Joel Embiid is off the court. Even though Doc said Joel Embiid is going to be playing majority of the minutes on the court throughout the games, those few minutes when Joel Embiid is off the court, it's going to be brutal. It's going to be very, very brutal unless you find a way to utilize it properly. And just Doc Rivers being condescending in general. It's just really, I just don't understand. Because I see the tweet right here from Tyrone Johnson. Doc is being very condescending about the backup 5 minutes. He better be right about the Raptor. He better be right against the Raptors, or it's going to be bad with him with the fans. Yeah. Doc Rivers literally just saying, we're not going to throw Paul Reed a victory party, a victory parade right here, talking about DeAndre Jordan and all that. I'm just like, Doc, he's just being stubborn at this point. Like, just being stubborn old Doc Rivers. It's really just annoying at this point with the way Doc Rivers is. But yeah, and he also says Matisse Thybulle is going to be ineligible to play games 3 and 4, which are going to be in Toronto. And at this point, I would assume right now, just because of the way, the Sixers and Toronto played this year, Toronto did win the season series, even though at the end of the day, when you go to the playoffs, I feel like season series stats don't matter. At the end of the day, I feel like talent overpowers, what happens in the playoffs and especially in the NBA. But looking at, this series and the way these two teams play against each other, I kind of do see it, maybe going 6 or 7 games. I'm not going to say 4. I'm not going to say 5. No, hardly no. I feel like this is a 6 or a 7 game series just because of the way both teams do play with each other. Sixers with the top end talent, and then you got the Toronto Raptors and the way they just play, just grind and muck and just basically wear you down whenever they're on the court. So it's going to be a very, very interesting series right here with these two teams. How are the Sixers going to come out? I know a lot of people are definitely going to be very concerned since they're playing Toronto. A lot of people did not want them to play Toronto just because of what happened during the regular season against that team. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Because like I said, if you look at the NBA playoff schedule right now, it's not fully set because, you still have the whole play-in tournament thing. Like I said, Brooklyn plays Cleveland, and then you got all the other play-in tournaments from the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference as well. So basically, you're going to have those things happening, and then the actual playoffs. So the tournament's going to be lasting from the 12th to the 15th, and then the actual playoffs are going to be starting on Saturday, April 16th. So who knows? The Sixers' first game could be on that Saturday, it could be on the very next Sunday, or it could be the Monday. You never know. But most likely, I would assume the Sixers' first game in the playoffs is going to be either this Saturday, the 16th, or next Sunday, the 17th. So it's going to be a very interesting ride right here. You're going to be watching the play-in tournament this week, going through everything, basically breaking down what's going to be happening with the Sixers and the Raptors, how these two teams match up, and basically who's going to win it. It's going to be an interesting time. It's going to be very fun. It's going to probably be very stressful. It's going to be very frustrating, but basically that is all a part of the journey of the NBA playoffs and the playoffs with basically every single sport. So, what are your thoughts on this game, everyone? What are your thoughts on basically the entire season for the Sixers? Are you concerned going into the first round against Toronto? Do you think the Sixers have what it takes to beat Toronto in the first round to get to the second round? And basically everything like that. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section down below. I'd like to see those as always. Do not forget to drop a like on this video. Do not forget to check out the Panda Lines, which I'm a part of. Their links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia, the Florida Pod merch website, and also Flyers, Nitty Gritty. All that good stuff is down in the description below. Do not forget to check those out. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the most important thing you can do is hit that sub button. Also, drop a like on the like button as well. And also use the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. And I will see you next time.